Hello, we're here with Craig McKim from Craig McKim Business Development. How are you doing?
I'm quite well. It's always great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, my pleasure, my pleasure. Well, sorry you couldn't make it physically to the event. We
Me too.
are looking at your expertise in business development and business development online. Um, could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and how you've come to combine certain areas of security and BD?
Sure, for sure. I'm located out in northeastern Ohio, and I've been involved in the protection industry since 1999, where I went when I went to the Executive Protection Institute, and then I made a quick journey out to Las Vegas, where I got immediately into the security realm. I started in a club, and which many do, and then I got into close protection, executive protection, whatever you want to call it. And I've been attached to it ever since. However, I wasn't always doing that necessarily full time. It was bits and pieces here and there, but because of the resume and the work ethic and things like that, I was able to kind of be um, to be tied to it, throughout those years. So, but the business development came when I was in a hospitality company where it was my job. I guess I want to get into that. It was my job to go out and create relationships with other vendors or other companies, other individuals that allowed us to kind of share clientele. And that became business development. It was just me going out and having conversations and having a level of expertise, one in the industry, which was nightlife at the time, and coupling that with being humble, asking for things, and not telling people anything, telling them about the company, why we're valuable, what we have to offer, and why we're a better choice than maybe somebody else or another place. And so, really, kind of, it wasn't so much a sales pitch; it was just telling them, here's what we do, and here's what we do really well.
Mm, that's a good
And
that's a good evolution, isn't it?
yeah, and because and then also the one big part of it, I think sometimes I don't know. I honestly, I just don't know how other people operate, but I answered my phone, I answered emails, and I did it quickly. And I got back to people when they were asking for information. And if I didn't know, there was an email saying, "I don't know, but I'll give me an hour, give me 15 minutes." Just depending. So it was being humble, being responsive, and having a better product to offer or better service to offer than our closely related competition.
Hmm. So you've sort of developed the business development skills whilst on the job out of, I guess, necessity.
Yeah, very much. It was not. It was something because I had intimate knowledge of that industry. I was able to, having worked in the clubs, I was able to apply that, create, for at least for the company that I worked for, create certain systems, protocols, procedures, things like that. Who we ask, how we ask, why we ask, and it worked out pretty well.
Fantastic. Well, I came to meet you at the IPSB in Las Vegas a couple of times, and
Yes.
you've done a lot of public speaking and coaching, and it's been great to see and learn from you. We are both fans of one of the online marketing gurus, Gary Vee.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
Many people might be uninitiated with Gary Vee's work, um,
Hmm.
but uh, but he certainly provides a lot of motivation and practical skills,
Hmm. For
which
sure. And
which is
and one of those is just to go do it. You're like, well, what do I need? What do I need to start? It's like you start. You just start. And you'll figure it out from there. You have to make moves, and like this worked and this didn't. But while you're doing it, also you run into people that are willing to help and say, hey, would you like to be on this forum? Or hey, let's network. Do we know some of whatever the case is? But just by whether it's networking or whatever, but just by doing, you have to
mm,
start. You have to start. How's that saying goes? You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Cliched or corny or whatever you want to call it, is the absolute truth. Is just start doing.
okay. Well, before we get into your top tips and advice for professionals out there to develop their own online brand or business development,
Sure.
why don't we just have a quick think about where the EP and corporate security world has had exposure to work online, because maybe some people won't know where to start, but we can reassure them actually your work has actually become more digitized, and you've got a lot of access points to this world.
Mhm. When the first thing I think of is kind of it where it started, because you think about in the 90s, when the internet was invented, it was a fad. Like, oh, we're going to try this internet thing. It might be something, it might be nothing, and that's another, not to continue to bring him up, but that Gary Vee talks about that, like, oh yeah, this was just going to be, it's going to be a quick hit, and people are going to do whatever they're going to do, and that's going to be it. Well, this clearly has really this really began then to define the way that we live life, to include business and our personal life, social, all of it. But my earliest recollection of it obviously is email. Everybody had like an AOL account or Hotmail. Some people are still hanging on to those, and we don't like change. There's a lot better platforms out there. However, but the first like information sharing outside of websites and things like that were like message boards. And I remember Executive Protection Institute had a message board. They shared information about classes, about work. And that's really what I remember about it, was those specific things. It was, here's work, and then here's other things that are coming up. And so it was message boards and then chat rooms. And at this point, I'm still not super in depth into the protection industry, so I don't really know what's happening there. I just know that that's how we could communicate. You get into a chat room, which essentially has become Facebook, on their page, and everybody is able to make comments. And then you can message, like, and that was going private in the chat rooms, like, let's go private. It's like, now it's, DMs or, or whatever, what have you. But then, Facebook, so let's, fast forward to when Facebook did happen. Then you had LinkedIn, and that wasn't as popular. People didn't quite understand it, but you also had Facebook, and I know that the start times are different, but Facebook, you begin to, get on there, and people are quick to resist it. And that was anybody. It wasn't just EP professionals.
Mm.
Protection security professionals are quick to look at something and be like, okay, how much information is going out? Is it actually safe? Can the source be trusted, and things like that? So it's a cautious bunch, which is good.
Mm.
But you just be careful about what you put out there, and you can't just put anything out, especially when considering the job and considering who you work for in
Mm.
those corporations, or even if it's your own company. But the when Facebook started, or when groups started coming out, that was another place. People were quick to to put out, and I don't not even say work, but like open source intel. You
Mm.
go out, hey, just so you know, this is going on, and communicating with other protectors. Like somebody in Miami found somebody in Washington, so they're able to connect quicker without having to go to a conference or
Mm.
something along those lines. But so it really connected everybody, and it did it quickly, and made information immediate almost.
So it's good
So,
because
but
it's a good access point, because I mean, even now we get people saying, "Oh, I don't think it's for me. I don't know where to begin." But actually, you have begun. You've already been doing this.
yeah, and yeah, yeah, exactly. If you have an email, like, you're online, like it or not, you are an online user. And so you fast forward it to to the sharing. You work with you work on a detail. You can now, like, you can advance routes. You can advance restaurants or where you're going. You can find out, again, the open intelligence. You can find information on just the stalkers, or the person that you're going to be meeting, or employees. Are you able to screen employees? Like, what kind of stuff do they put on Facebook? What kind of
Mm.
stuff do they put on Snap or Instagram? Like, what is it that they're talking about? Is that the right fit, along with the vendors and people like
Mm.
that using? You can really truly investigate, and they do. And that bites some people, and sometimes and some people it served very, very well.
Okay, so then let's follow that line of questioning, because I'd like to ask you about each platform in turn.
Okay.
Of course, your hot tips and advice for building a brand online. But there's an added facet, which is maybe not every approach is the best approach. I mean, the famous example that you shouldn't take a photo of your famous principal ever. Uh, you know, that would be the most easy way to gain a following, but you know, quickest way to get you into trouble. So in no particular order, your top tips. Number one, Facebook.
Facebook, I think it's, well, I'm going to take this out of your hands for a quick second here. As I think about, you know, any of the platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Snap, TikTok, any of them. The key, if you want success in any of them, is engagement, in my opinion. So many people will put things out, you know, they'll put out an announcement, or and people will comment. Like when I put my videos out on talking about network, talking about coaching, whatever it is that I do, I don't do it for all my platforms, but on LinkedIn, because of it's professional, I make sure that I engage, that, you know, I thank them for taking time to read whatever it is. Like they took time to listen to something that I had to say, so that I make sure that I, you know, at least say thank you. If not, you know, develop some sort of conversation, and then maybe more people jump on that. But engagement is going to be the overall message that I would have for any of it. If people are talking to you, you need to talk to them. So Facebook, you know, people are sometimes they're afraid to blend personal and you know, and professional. Depends on what you're looking for. If you are if you're looking for work, it doesn't, you know, actually, you know what, it really doesn't matter. If you're looking for work, or you have work, or you're looking to put information out, like sharing about you, that's how you connect with people. We're quick to put up a wall and, you know, we're just professional here. You know, we you know, I don't want people to know about my personal life. Well, I can appreciate that, and most security professionals can. However, you connect on a human level. You might like how somebody does work, but you might not like them, and you're still not necessarily going to do work with them. You're not going to look for them. But if you know that you're a golfer and they're a golfer, there's that common ground. And this is just that social networking. It's just networking. And, you know, you connect on that, you know, maybe that one common ground, and see like, oh, I didn't know that about him or her. Like, oh, they like golf. They love Phil Mickelson. I love Phil Mickelson, or whatever it is. So as far as that goes, Facebook, you know, people, they try to make it one or the other, and I really don't think it has to.
Plus, they could scrape your private account if they truly wanted. Whether or not that's permissible in different geographies, I mean, you put it out there, someone can find it.
Yeah, right. You know, LinkedIn, you know, that's another one we just talked about professional, you know, and I like that it has a more professional ring to it, but or I'm sorry, environment. But with any of it, and let me say again, this is for all of them. It's like, what are you sharing? What are you putting out? Are you being careful? Are you looking for work? Do you want somebody to see you, you know, shotgun on a beer and you know, falling over, which a lot of times people kind of use it for. So you want to keep it cleaned up. You want to keep it. What is it, the message that you want to put? If you can't say a word, what's the message that you want to put out about? If you can't engage with that person belly to belly, what kind of thing do you want them to know about you? So that's one of those things. And you know, we like to be opinionated. You know, there's a lot of type A's in this field, and that can be beneficial, or it can be detrimental. And so, you know, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, our favorite person, Gary Vee, loves to talk about the amazing organic reach of LinkedIn in particular.
Right.
Now, obviously, we've got to balance what we're putting, how much value we're conveying, how much the other person understands the value. Is LinkedIn in a golden moment for people for organic reach? And maybe they won't even understand what organic reach is, but I don't know. What do you think?
I believe it is. The same, you know, the same way there's not enough content on there. So, you know, so posts that are, you know, if you use the same post from Facebook and pop it up on LinkedIn, as long as you're engaging, again, you know, when I comment on your post, my my network, my connections see that I commented on it.
Mm.
So they see it and they say, oh, what is he, what was that? Who's that guy? Well, let me go see what he's doing. And so they go to it. Now there's another view or another comment or something like that. And the more that you engage, and you're not doing it for likes, and at least you shouldn't be doing it for likes. You should be doing it for, how do I brand myself, or at least how do I how do I let people know what I think, which essentially becomes your brand after time. It's your reputation. Think of it that way too. If you don't want to talk about online branding or branding, think about what's your reputation. And it's somebody who, it's somebody who shares things. It's somebody who offers relevant information. It's
Mm.
somebody who, maybe in this case, and this is sticking in my mind and it keeps coming up, and I've been not saying it, but like, the type A's, and we like the Monday morning quarterback. Now this guy's always got something negative to say. It's which I guess I've kind of strayed from your initial question.
Yeah, no, but it's
LinkedIn,
important.
right? Yeah, LinkedIn. Like I said, I believe that there's so much to do there if you're putting out valuable information. And like I mentioned in the beginning, we're not always asking for stuff. If we are asking for stuff, we're asking for opinions, not asking for work, not asking
Mm.
to make for a contact, which isn't so bad. But if we're asking for something that strictly benefits us, that's where you're going to go wrong in anything, whether it's or on any platform, whether it's Twitter or Snap, or it's like, hey, do something for me, do something for me, do something for me, instead of here's what I'm offering. And so I think, you could go on. I'll move on. Like TikTok, I don't know a lot about it. I have an account, but I'm not active on it. It's just not, it's for those of you who don't know, it's a platform that offers, essentially it's kind of like talent videos. You can go up there and sing or lip sync and things like that. And that's what a lot of people will use it for, but that's what people were using it, for years. Twitter was a place to post pictures of your food. So it's, well, was that really what it was for? Like, I don't know, but
Mm.
that's what people use it for. So whatever people are going to use it for, and if that makes sense for what you do, whether it's you want to show
Mm.
people that you can shoot straight, or that, whatever it is, you definitely can use it. Same with Snapchat. I'm on it. I'm active with my little network that's on there, but I don't go nuts on it. I don't know where it fits for me. I guess I haven't figured it out, but I haven't spent enough time to really offer a real strong opinion on it. I know that millions and millions are on it, and information is being shared there, but I don't know. But I don't know
Mm.
what it is for me. But if you do, and it's working, don't. One thing that people like to talk about is like, oh, this is just for kids. None of this is just for kids. None of it is for the college students. All of it is for everybody. Just depends on how you want to use it.
Mm.
Facebook is still, I don't care what anybody says, Facebook is still probably the most powerful online marketer outside of Google, maybe,
Mm.
that is out there for a personal brand that is free. So
Yeah, I
that's
I was
kind of my
thinking,
take on all of it.
I try to share some hot tips with the beginning of the Corona crash. I said, did you know Facebook adverts are back to 2015 prices? And a number of people said, but who's on Facebook? Uh, I, I'm like,
Yeah,
we're still
everybody.
having this conversation,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm trying to tell you about a hot tip. And me,
Hmm.
I got 1 pence per click. That's bananas. That's unheard
Yeah,
of.
yeah. That's
But everything you do, I like what you say. You got to add value.
hmm hmm And here's another one, and it's and this can go into it as well, is where the value comes from, is authenticity. You know, it's yourself. We can't talk about what people what we think they want to hear. We talk about what we want to put out, what matters to us, and it's not self-serving, but what that does is gives other people the chance to see you, not what you want them to see, but to see you, to talk about the things that matter to you. If you love dogs, talk about dogs. If you love comic books, talk about comic books, because your crew will find you.
Mm.
I want business, or I want to work for this company. Well, great, go apply there. But put out information about you. Now, again, this goes back to, if you're into partying and throwing shots back and doing all sorts of crazy stuff for everybody to see, maybe that company isn't going to want you. But it's just not gonna work. So it just comes down to, be yourself, be the best version of yourself, but be yourself to let people see that, and that will attract, the authenticity will attract everybody.
Mm,
I took an online business course, and one of the things that the author, the course developer talks about is, you know, you write whatever you write. If you do want to start writing, if you do want to start putting things out, that you do want to start putting videos out, pick one person that either or like what your ideal client would be, or the ideal person that for you to meet, and you write for them. You write to touch them if it's coming from your heart, and it will, because you're like, I want to influence that person. I
mm,
want them to, I share this with them. So you write about that. You speak from that place, and you speak from that place in your heart to come out, and that will attract not only that person, but other people who feel the authenticity coming off of you. And you can't say, there's been marketing companies, a Gary Vee thing, like they say, well, how do we be more authentic? I can't instruct you on that, except to say,
mm,
speak from where you're coming from and what you feel, which
mm.
sounds hokey or whatever, but speak from where you're coming from.
And we've seen this with the advent of corona email bombardments. Companies that are not ready to email to the captive economy, as some people are terming it.
Yeah.
Hey, Craig, I know you're feeling down. How about, unrelated to that topic, you just buy my thing?
Right.
Who's gonna do that?
Right. Yeah. 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 And it's, yeah. Instead of just telling us about it. Hey, did you know? That's
Mm,
one of those things I talk about. I run a small little networking group, and that's one of the things that I talk about. Is, people are, I don't know what to say. I don't know what I should be like. Just tell us about what you do.
mm.
Tell us about
Your
people who
story.
influenced you. Yeah, just tell us something about the business, the industry, the job that you are involved in, without the sales pitch. And again, and people are like, well, that's why I'm in business. And I get it, but people, so many. I don't want to say people, and I don't want to generalize like that, but so many feel that, like, feel the inauthenticity. Like, I want to ask, I want to see how you're doing, but then I'm going to cap it with, would you like to buy my stuff?
Mm.
Instead of, how are you doing? Did you know? It hits a lot different than, would you buy? So that's my thought.
Mm.
That's my thought on that, I guess.
I like it. I like it. No, and it's genuine. Everyone's naked in this environment, and you don't have to post secret documents. You don't have to post about your principal. You don't have to. People will say, "Oh, I heard that TikTok was banned by the U.S. military." Well, yes, but only because they were doing very revealing videos from inside complexes that they shouldn't
Right.
have been doing it, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
it was a video of their cat, and they said, "I love my cat so much." I
Hmm.
mean, now we know they like cats, and
Yeah.
that's something.
And yeah, and you find, like I said, you find your tribe, you find your crew, you find you find your outside family, by talking about the things that matter to you outside of work, um, or I guess I don't want to just, I'm kind of focused on the work aspect of it here, but like, yeah, that's what a lot of us are using it for, and that's how we pass information and things like that. But, if you see I don't know, you see Christian West talking about his cat. I don't know that he has a cat, but I mean, oh, holy cow, like, that's something that he and I have that in common. I had no idea. He did a video the other day where he was showing a little bit of a light source and a power
Mm,
source, and it's great for executive protection for sure, but it would be great for anything else. So it wasn't. He was showing it in that aspect, but it's like, this would work around your house if for whatever reason. I don't remember exactly how the video went,
mm,
but it was
mm.
but it was information not just for the protector.
It's good, and it's adding value.
Yeah,
So
and that's the big thing. Yep.
so imagine you're a corporate security professional, or an EPO, CPO out there, and this crisis has hit you hard, and you you want to brand yourself, but you don't have any followers, and you don't have a big LinkedIn presence, or any presence, and you're going to start now.
Mhm.
What's your advice for them?
Well, first I would say update it. You have one, go in there. A lot of people leave them. They just haven't. It's like it's just there, And there's a friend of mine who I worked with years ago. Still shows that he works at the same company that we worked at together. Then he hasn't been there for 4 years.
Ah.
And so you go in there and update it. Put the relevant information. Treat it like it's your job. Go in there, put in the relevant description or none, but don't do it halfway. If you're going to do it, put in here's my position and here's what that encompasses, or tell us about the company. Your certifications. Go in there and put it in. When do they expire? Make it a complete profile. And LinkedIn, they have, it's like, they show a little circle or like a little ball that fills up as you add information. And if you get to a point where you're an all-star, I forget how they put it, but you're an all-star. You have as much information in there as you can that deems you that, but then you can continue to add on to it. And the ones that are, you update all the information. So if you don't have a certification or it expired, get it off of there, or go and get it, get the recertification. So do that. If you find yourself unemployed, update your resume, go in there and put everything current. If you've been going to other trainings, if you've been, if you volunteer, well, maybe not so much for the resume, but even on like LinkedIn, put your volunteerism in there. You don't want to share it. Again, this comes down to letting people see what you care about. Put that out there. Go out there and join groups. LinkedIn has a ton of groups. Facebook has a ton of groups. Get involved in conversations, but listen first. I go back to the Monday morning quarterback. People like to put stuff up and then hit people. Well, they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done this. Get in there and listen to what's going on. And maybe that's all you do. Just go in there and sit and just read. What are people talking about? What are they saying? What are they interested in? Do you have some expertise that you could share on that would be relevant and really make sense? Then you make your post, you join your group, you make the post in there, you put it on, you put it on your page, you share it, you use the appropriate tags on there, or hashtags. When we say tags, you'll see hashtag security, hashtag close protection, hashtag, Las Vegas, hashtag London, whatever it is, wherever it is people that you want to reach.
Which is free marketing.
It's free, and it's all free. I mean, LinkedIn has the paid subscription, but you can still communicate with people that either do or don't, if you do or don't. So that works out. And then, like you said, Facebook, you can advertise, at pretty reduced rates right now.
Yeah.
Everybody's feeling it. So Facebook, they did what a lot of other companies do. So that's great. But my big thing here is, if you are out of work, it is a challenging and scary time that way. If you have a resume, put it out, apply online, things like that. But if you're going to network, if you're going to put things out, you just can't ask people for stuff all the time. You can't ask them do you have any work for me? Like, this gets into the self-serving thing. And I understand that you want to, well, I need people to know why I'm reaching out. If you are just starting now to network and to be online, and they see that, and they see that you just got online to send direct messages or to post things, I need work, can anybody help me? It's going to be losing. And not saying that you don't need it, but maybe you just post your resume. And one thing that a good friend of mine had a quote that he gave me was, you network through people, not to people. So I'm not going to Fellum and saying, hey, do you have work for me? Hey, do you know anybody that's hiring?
It's a better question.
Background. Oh, it's 100%. It hits way different, because it doesn't put somebody on defense and they automatically start thinking, how can I help this person? Like, I understand that they're in need. And what we're seeing now, I think, in this corona, with all this corona business, is that people are seeing that we are in this together. Everybody's missing work. Everybody has bills stacking up. It's happening to everybody. And so there are a lot more, it feels like there's a lot more humanity being passed around the globe than you know, how many posts have you seen? I probably can't count them on two hands of people saying, hey, no judgment. If you know somebody that is going hungry right now, shoot me a DM. You know, this load of groceries is on me. And every time I see that, like there's a little spark of emotion that it hits here. Like people are really seeing what others are willing to do
Mm.
as a species. You know, not to get existential here, but like
Mm.
really that's what's going on. They're willing to help, but if you're going into it saying, do for me, it's going to hurt you long term.
You got to think, what is it they might want that I might have?
Yeah. And so can I go into it and say, hey, what, you know, whatever it is, can I offer my opinion? Can I offer some time? Can I do some spec work? So that when you can hire, maybe, you know, maybe I can, you know, maybe I will have a job at that, you know, at that point. Can I write some articles about my expertise? People a lot of times think, well, I'm only this, I only do this. Well, you have an opinion, like, you know, maybe that, what can I offer a CEO? What can I offer a manager? You can ask them. You know, Tom Bilyeu famously, well, to me famously said, he's like, you know, don't give me a chore. Don't ask me what you can do for me, which I don't totally believe in, but tell me what you can do. Here, I can do this. I can do that. You know, is that of value to you? And, you know, and provide solutions for people.
Mm.
And whether that's in the form of offering opinion, writing a piece, anything along those lines, like that's something that you can do. The biggest thing you can do is offer people your time. And that's like the one thing that we just can't get back. So I spend a lot of time thinking about that, which is funny that I would do that, but since I can't get it back, but I'm happy to do it too. So
It's interesting. It's perfect. And it's a great note to finish on because we're out of time. Uh,
excellent. Oh, perfect.
yeah. Well, Craig, thank you very much for your time and your expertise. If people want to find you, how best to contact you?
How best is through, well, you can find me first. You can find me on LinkedIn, just Craig McKim. I should pop up first. I am very active on it. Facebook, just, you know, just Craig McKim. And you can hit me on my email, Craig McKim Biz Dev. And I'm happy to do this for this conference. If you would ever like to text me, you can find me at WhatsApp or just add my number 702-767-8203. Happy to have conversations with anybody. And if I can be of service to you and kind of guide you on how to best grow your network, I'd love to do it.
Perfect. That's a model citizen. Thanks for joining us, and see you soon.
Been my pleasure. Thank you.